Once the astronauts went up, children only wanted to play with space toys. I know how that feels.
On October 4th, 1957, the first artificial satellite known as Sputnik was launched into space, and it remained in orbit until 1958, when it fell back and burned in Earth's atmosphere.
The powerful thrust of the Aerospace sends the whole assembly up through the dense stratosphere, a layer of heavy air 50 miles thick surrounding the Earth. The first rocket is then dropped, its fuel exhausted. A second rocket ignites and takes over. Altitude 140 miles, satellite being stripped for action. It's that round ball in the nose. Altitude better than 250 miles, and the second rocket burns out, but its momentum carries the whole assembly forward. Second rocket spent, the third and last one takes over, the final thrust that carries the satellite into its chosen orbit. Then all the rocket power gone, but tremendous force has been built up, and the satellite is pushed off on its own at a speed of 18,000 miles an hour. A fixed course circling the Earth beyond the reach of the Earth's gravitational pull. Hundreds of miles in space, the satellite's instruments start collecting data, sending it back in the form of radio signals. A pilotless spaceship, man's advanced scout in outer space.
It was created by the Soviet Union, and a group of scientists led by Mikhail Tikhonov laid the groundwork for the creation of this satellite. Originally, the first satellite project for the Soviet Union was a large satellite called Object D, but in 1956, when it became clear that problems in the development of the scientific instruments for Object D would delay their schedule, OKB-1, or Energia, proposed the smaller, simplest satellite as a precursor to Object D. The person most accredited with this achievement is Sergei Korolev, the chief designer of Sputnik. He deserves the most credit for turning rocket weapons like the R-7 rocket into an instrument of space exploration. The R-7 rocket was originally designed to carry a 6-ton thermonuclear warhead across a distance of 5,500 miles, but was eventually deemed impractical for this purpose. That is when it became the foundation for launching payloads into orbit. The Sputnik satellite took about 98 minutes to orbit the Earth. It weighed only 183.9 pounds and was 22.8 inches in diameter, roughly the size of a beach ball. The official Soviet news agency TASS announced the launch to the world by broadcasting it through Moscow radio. 2 days after the launch of Sputnik, on October 6, 1957, CBS News did a special report on the satellite.
CBS Television presents a special report on Sputnik 1, the Soviet space satellite. Douglas Edwards reporting.
Until 2 days ago, that sound had never been heard on this Earth. Suddenly, it has become as much a part of 20th century life as the whir of your vacuum cleaner. It's a report from man's farthest frontier, the radio signal transmitted by the Soviet Sputnik, the first man-made satellite as it passed over New York earlier today.
Meanwhile, in the U.S. during this time, the Naval Research Laboratory was chosen to design and build their first satellite called the Vanguard. This satellite was nothing compared to Sputnik at just an intended 3.5-pound payload. The launch of Sputnik was the start of the space age and the beginning of the space race between the United States and the USSR. The success of Sputnik led the U.S. to build the Explorer 1, a satellite that discovered the magnetic radiation belts around the Earth. The Explorer program continued as a successful series of useful spacecraft projects. Sputnik's prosperity also led directly to the establishment of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA.
you supposed to be?
Remember the Russian satellite, Sputnik? Well, I'm a potato, or a spud, and these are my antenna. So Sputnik becomes Sputnik. Sputnik.
Wow, I don't have the worst costume anymore.
Hey, all right, Ross came as Duty. No, I'm not Duty.
No, space duty.